we encourage young athletes to achieve their very best outside of the game. And today we have another awesome guest. And our guest today is actually a first when it comes to the sport that he's involved in. So, like always, I'm going to allow him to go ahead and introduce himself.
Hello, my name is Miles Simon. I'm a swimmer at Howard University.
Thank you, Mr. Simon, for joining us. And we're gonna get right into the questions. Mr. Simon, where are you originally from? Born and raised?
I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. It's down south.
Okay, all right. And I'm sure most people watching, a lot of times I have guests that'll come on and give us other small towns throughout Georgia. And so we kind of use Atlanta as the kind of point to say, okay, how far are you from Atlanta? Because we know most people are familiar with Atlanta, Georgia. So Mr. Simon just let you know he's from Atlanta, Georgia. He also let you know that he's a swimmer. Mr. Simon, when did you actually start swimming?
I started swimming. It was probably around like 4 or 5, but like swimming on a team was like when I was 6.
6, okay. All right. Did you play any other sports in your youth?
I played softball, but that was about it.
That's it? All right.
Oh, and I played tennis as well.
Tennis. All right. Now, did you play those like competitively on teams or just kind of recreation?
It was recreation. It wasn't really on the team.
Okay.
Well, yeah, team. Yeah, it was on team. It wasn't really no teams. It was recreation stuff.
All right. So, what inspired you to start swimming?
I mean, not to say I wasn't inspired, because later on I did get inspired to continue and to really make swimming my priority. But in my younger years, I kind of just swam to swim. It was kind of, to me back in the day, it was kind of cool. Like, it was different from all the other sports. It was something that I actually like doing. I like going swimming. I liked being in the water at a certain time, but then later down the road, I kind of got inspired to swim by my coach.
All right. So I'll ask this question because I know we have people that are watching from different areas. I know born and raised in New Jersey. I currently live in North Carolina, so it's a different setup. In Atlanta, were there a lot of like rec centers and pools just like in different neighborhoods, or were there isolated areas where you had pools to go to?
No, there was a lot of rec centers, places I could go swim at. I wouldn't say they were isolated. Like, I had to drive 40 something minutes to get to this one pool in this one area. Like, I had a lot of options, but I mainly swam at Adamsville Recreation Center, which is now called C.T. Martin Recreation Center for all my Atlanta folk. And I swam with the City of Atlanta Dolphins down in over there.
Wow, that's awesome. So, are there any swimmers or maybe even any other athletes that inspire you?
I mean, I wouldn't say I have any like swimmers. I mean, of course, there's people like Simone Manuel, one of the swimmers, Caleb Dressel, but I want to say athlete that is inspiring me is Muhammad Ali.
Wow, that's awesome. That's good. That definitely, I believe most of us will agree he's probably the greatest to ever do it inside the boxing ring.
Mm-hmm.
So initially, when you started swimming, did you have any long-term goals? To swim competitively.
I mean, everybody has that. Oh, you swim now, swim in high school, swim in college, and then it's done. I didn't like that. Was just like the plan set, of course, for every. It's like every athlete coming up. But I didn't really have like a set goal. Like, I didn't expect to be doing all this that I'm doing now, honestly. So I would say I had like a set plan coming up into for my swimming career.
All right. So what were some of your accomplishments in swimming in high school?
In high school, I qualified for our state championship a couple of times. I didn't really swim for my high school. I swam for high school about 2 years, but I mainly swam for my club team in high school. So I went to high school state about once, but I would go to our Georgia state cup twice every year, because it was a state in the summer and a state championship in the summer and a state championship in the winter. And so I would go there twice every year. My junior year going to my senior year, that summer I won the 50 free at sectional, so that was a pretty big accomplishment for me coming up. That was like my breakout year. And Yeah, that was about it. I mean, yeah, that was my kind of my biggest accomplishments right there.
Okay. So you just kind of said it a few minutes ago that you didn't necessarily, I guess, originally really maybe envision doing it at the level you're doing it. So for those that don't know, kind of tell us some of the things that you've been able to accomplish now on the college level now as a swimmer. Tell us some of the things. I know a few of the things, but those watching, tell us some of the things you've been able to accomplish most recently in swimming.
Well, most recently, I've broken just this season alone. I've broken three individual records and no, four individual records in total. I'm trying to think. Yeah, four individual records and three relay records, and then that's just this season alone. I've also qualified for the NCAA competition it's in Atlanta this year, but it's a big competition. The big swim meet. It's like the highest you can go in college swimming in D1 swimming, and that's the highest competition you can get to. So that was probably one of my biggest accomplishments there. And even before that, of course I qualified for the Olympic trials, swam there, did good there. I placed I can't remember the place. Actually, it's right here. What am I saying? I placed seventh at the summer nationals this summer in the 50 free. So that was actually pretty big because that was the first time actually like because I won a whole medal and everything. It was crazy. I got to sit up on the podium at a national meet. That was my first time ever doing that.
That's awesome, Mr. Simon. And so those records that you say you've been able to break, have those all been just like on the D1 level? Like what levels are those records that you've broke?
The records I broke are all from Howard University, all from my school.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. And what are some of the events that you actually participated in swimming?
I'll be honest, I swim everything.
Okay.
All strokes, I don't say all distances, but all strokes and all types of races. But I want to say my main strokes right now are free and backstroke.
All right. So you just mentioned that you were able to qualify for the Olympic trials. What was that experience like?
I'll be honest, it was a big eye opener. It was, I want to say, in a way, it was kind of a bit overwhelming. Like it was a lot when I got there. It wasn't like a lot going on, but it was just like it was my first time ever experiencing something like that in my life. So it was a lot to take in at the time, but I really appreciate the experience.
And I know there's somebody that you're connected to at Howard University that was actually only which placed you in a position to be on the second only person from Howard University to qualify for the Olympic trials. And who would that be?
And that would be our very own Coach Nicholas Askew.
Wow, and that's awesome. That accomplishment alone, and you're so humble with it, Mr. Simon, because you've achieved so much already, and for me, I believe you're just getting started. But you've achieved so much, and so hats off to you. Just really wish you the best as you continue to go on in your career of swimming. Um, Next, I want to kind of ask you, as you were going into the process of looking for a college to go to, did you have a lot of choices you were looking at?
Um, yes and no. Like I was looking at a lot of schools, but I was really only talking to two schools. It was Howard, and then there was a small D2 school in Georgia I was thinking about going to just in case, things didn't work out with Howard. But I'll be honest, Howard was my number one choice. Like I wanted to attend Howard and swim for Howard. So I was really only looking at two schools. Or really
Okay.
only one.
And so, what were you in? Now you had a like you said a goal of going to Howard. So, what were some of the things, or even you can even talk to the young student athlete watching? What are some of the things you should look at when looking for a school to choose?
For a student athlete, I mean, um, a big thing is your major, like the programs they offer. Um, I'm a psychology major personally, but like let's for example, if Howard's business program is excellent. Like you meet so many people here and like things like that. Cause I originally wanted to major in business and me going through Howard, I ended up majoring in psychology. But just things like that, like course your major, the student community is really important to me. Like that's one of the reasons why I'm honestly still here, because the students here really make Howard University.
Wow.
So, things like that. And to be honest, like just the culture too. Like the thing, how the school how the school has certain festivities and stuff, and like it was a it was a lot of stuff I was looking into my senior year, but mainly it was those three things that I was looking into.
All right. So for the student athlete, give them some advice for preparing themselves to make that transition from high school to college, because we know that that's two different levels when it comes to school. Like, just if you're speaking to a group of young high school athletes, like what are some things they can prepare themselves for when it comes to, just on the sports end, as well as a student transitioning to college?
Okay, well, I can really vouch for the sports team because my junior and freshman year of high school is when I really started to dedicate myself to swimming, and that's when I really had to learn time management because you know my practice schedule here, my practice schedule back home during my high school years was about the same. Like I would swim Monday evening, Tuesday and Thursdays I'll be swimming morning and afternoon, and then Wednesday, Friday I'll be swimming in the evening, and Saturday I'll be swimming in the mornings again. So that was my schedule throughout the whole week. So I really learned how to manage my time. So in the especially on things like Tuesdays and Thursdays, I got to get up at 4:45 in the morning, get to the pool by 5:30, 5:45. Then when I get out the pool, I would have to bring my school bag to the pool and leave my swim bag at the pool. So I'll go straight to school from the pool. Some most mornings. And so it was like, yeah, so and then I would have end up doing my work at school. So that's a lot. So me having to take the time and do my work at school and then worry about the material I'm learning right then and there. That was a big thing. And then that and just being more responsible, like having to have my own responsibilities and keep myself accountable for the things I want to do.
Awesome. Awesome. So you're from the Atlanta, Georgia area. You're now in the DC area, correct?
Yes.
What is the difference in just the makeup? Is it a big cultural difference in jump going from Atlanta to DC? Both places I've been through kind of in passing. Was able to go to a lot of the different things that they have, Black history and Martin Luther King monuments and things in Atlanta at a very young age, probably over 30 years ago. But I've passed through Atlanta and I've been there once or twice. DC, I've kind of passed through very quickly. Is there a big difference between those two cities?
I'll be honest, not really. A lot of people say DC is like a smaller Atlanta because literally like DC, you can walk everywhere and take the metro anywhere. Atlanta, you can do the same, but that's only when you're downtown. But the city's not too far from where Howard is right now. That's why, honestly, why like a lot of people from Atlanta like end up liking DC because it's kind of like home.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. So you already said that you're a psychology major. What are some of your career goals?
Well, I want to get into sports psychology.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
sports psychology.
Is that because you kind of see there's a gap and a need for some things when it comes to, you know, that area, or just a passion or something you've always wanted to get into?
Like I said, yeah, I'll be honest, I've changed my major. Well, I haven't changed my major, but I've only changed my major once, but I've changed what I wanted to do about two or three times, and I really figured that out after my first year in college. That there's a lot of my kind of towards the end of my junior year, and then throughout my whole senior year, I really realized that like practice, not practice, but sports in general an athlete has how to say an athlete. It's a lot of mental toll. It takes a lot of mental toll on an athlete when it comes to like sports because the time management, performing, the practices, and then you also have to and most athletes have school on top of that these days. So it's a lot of mental stress on athletes, and I've now went through that my senior year because the pressures of what college am I go to? I need to have my GPA this, sir. Am I going to get any scholarships? Um, how many? I got to go to practice today, but I need to fill. I can fill out my Common App tonight. So it's a lot of things that I went through my senior year, and I realized like not a lot of not even just swimmers, but not a lot of athletes like have somebody to help them through that because of course like I didn't think I needed it, but then when I got here I was like, wow, like a lot of teams who probably need it, or a lot of athletes who probably need that type of help.
Wow. That's good. That's good. I definitely agree that is needed in so many perspectives. The awesome thing is we're early in our second season, but the awesome thing I've been able to get a doctor, and actually she's actually out of the DC area. We have a doctor that will actually be on, and she's also a psychology major. And so just to cover, I've noticed so much in sports, whether it's football, basketball, a lot of our major sports, so many athletes go throughout their childhood not addressing certain things when it comes to their mental wellness. And so I think when you add on the sports part to it, I think there's a gap in just more needing to be talked about and addressed. And so my goal, I think it's also what you're doing from the psychology end, but my goal is even on our show to offer that even this season, just having someone to kind of address how to kind of recognize things and recognize when you may need to get professional assistance, or just being able to have outlets and talk, because so many athletes, sports is their outlet, but sometimes it's kind of that hiding space for some traumatic things that they've faced early in childhood.
Yeah.
And so I think it's definitely important that more athletes begin to seek, advice or even help when needed, and talking about their mental wellness. So keep doing what you're doing. And we didn't touch on it yet, but you not only are doing well in the pool, you are also excelling in the classroom. What are some of the accomplishments that you've had even on the academic end?
I mean, I was of course like honor roll, high school and stuff like that. But I mean, here I've been recognized as all I can't remember the name. It's like an all academic all star, something like that, for the Howard University swim team. And then there's of course the CCSA, our conference. Well, when we were in our old conference, they would have they would have they would name the teams and name the people on the team who had a 3.0 or better for each season. So yeah, part of those.
So for you, for some people, it just
Oh, and then,
comes. For some,
my bad, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I was also on a dean's list both semesters my sophomore year.
and that is awesome. And so I wanted to ask, like, what is it that drives you when it comes to academics? Some people, some students, some athletes need that extra push when it comes to the classroom. You said you've done it not only in high school, but you're still doing well in college. What is it that drives you when it comes to academics?
I mean, the big thing is not I don't have academic scholarships, but I have grants that I have to have a certain GPA to keep. And then another big thing is, our coaches don't play that. If you're under a 3.0, he'll either cut your scholarship or you're off the team if you have such a bad grade. So you have to those are pretty two big factors that kind of keeps my grades up.
Cool. So what is it that you do? I know for so many young people, you have sports, especially when you're a student athlete. What are some things you like to do in your spare time?
Honestly, I mean, in my spare time, I like to play video games, eat, sleep, because I mean, we don't really get to do a lot of that when you're swimming. But and then I like to just go out, like explore DC every once in a while, or just go out, hang out with friends every once in a while. Nothing too major.
All right. What games are you into?
Call of Duty. I'm into a lot of fighting games. Uh, what's that? Really, like I'm really into a lot of fighting games. Like I'd be playing Smash, Jump Force, all them other anime fighting games. I'm pretty into all that.
Okay, so I know with phones, there's always the joke you either have an iPhone or you have an Android. When it comes to video games, what are you, Xbox or is it PlayStation?
Oh, I'm Xbox. Yeah.
Xbox, cool, cool. So we've going. I wish I could say we've just gone through. We happen to still be up and down, still going through it. But we've just gone through this period of COVID, and I know last year was a big shutdown for most sports. So just how did it affect you this past season when it came to COVID and really preparing? I mean, you were just able to qualify for Olympic trials, but how did it affect you when it came to training?
So my freshman year is when the end of my freshman year is when I got sent home because of COVID because Howard had shut down, and then through the summer I was training every now and then, but I didn't really have a consistent training. Didn't really consistently train because my home pool with my home coach, they weren't allowing him to have organized practices, so I could. And then the pool was down for a good majority of the not of the summer, but good majority of the COVID. We didn't have the pool. We weren't. I wasn't able to go to the pool at the times I was able to go. And then once school started back up, and they told us we weren't be able to come back, we're all gonna be online. That's when I had the time to go to the pool and swim there. And where I worked at a aquatic center, so I could swim there every once in a while. And then I started really really going to the weight room more because I have a workout group that I work out with, and I started working out with them every other morning, and that's really started my routine. I would work out in the mornings, uh, go to work, do classes, and then come back and swim in the evening. And now I'll do that 5 times a week.
Okay. All right. And I know there's viewers that probably don't know. So when is typically the season for swimming on the D1 level?
For the D1 level, it starts around September, October, and then it ends in March.
All
But
right.
swimming honestly is year round.
Okay. All right. So now like has it how have things been so far this season?
They've been going pretty good. I mean, we're right now in our training. Well, we didn't go anywhere for usually most colleges go somewhere when we're on break for like a training trip, get out. But because of COVID, we weren't able to really go anywhere. So really just been training here at Howard, and I'll be honest, it's been pretty rough. But
All right.
I'm getting through it. Got through the week.
All right. So what are your goals really from here looking forward? What are some goals you set for yourself as a swimmer, your swimming career going forward?
Mm. Just right now this season, before I end the season off, I want to place at conference. Um, Before I graduate, I want to actually attend the NCAAs because, qualify for NCAA. There's not, I qualify for the B cut, so it's not a for sure chance that I'll be able to go to the meet. So before I graduate, I want to go there, and then I also want to go to Olympic trials one more time. So
All right. And so our next Olympic round to be what 2024, correct?
yeah.
All right. So when does everything kind of start happening as far as preparing for trials? Like when is that period kind of month wise as that Olympic year comes up?
Uh, I honestly don't know because most people be training the whole 4 years for it, but to make Olympic trials, I wouldn't say I only trained for 6 months to make it, but I kind of dedicated my time and my practices to make it for 6 months. Back last year, back around this time is when I started to really go for it. But I mean, really Olympic trials to really go there and do good, you really train for about a year or two to really go in there and do something at trials.
All right. So the awesome thing with you, Mr. Simon, is that you represent um you're representing African Americans when it comes to swimming, because swimming, there's not a lot of diversity in it. So I ask you, has there been any adversity that you face, playing swimming on the D1 level? Have you faced any adversity or anything that's made, kind of been uncomfortable being in the field or a sport that doesn't have a lot of diversity?
Uh, I mean, I wouldn't say I feel uncomfortable, but there's one thing that all black swimmers notice. When we go to those swim meets, we always like count or see how many like black people are at swim meets, because there's not really a lot of us. And then I wouldn't say I've really gone through any adversity because my swim team back at home was an all black swim team. So
Okay.
my coach was black, and then when I came here, it was I swam. I'm at a HBCU at an all black swim team at an all black school. So it wasn't real. I didn't really go through. I can't say for myself I really go through much adversity because that's just because of how I was raised and who I grew up around.
I think it's awesome that Howard is representing in that area, because currently, and tell me if I'm wrong, Howard is actually is it the only HBCU that has a
Well,
Division I swim program?
yes, but I have heard that I don't know the name of the school, starts with a B, but there's another like HBCU that started a D2 swim team, but right now Howard's only D1 swim team.
Wow, wow. So, what are some ways that you plan to kind of use your platform to kind of impact others, or maybe even the world? Are those things that you've thought about, just ways that you'll be able to impact others with the stage and the platform that you've had thus far?
I've had thoughts every now and then. Right now, I have like a little fitness page, and I'm starting just to show like what I be doing. It's mainly for my like weight room and stuff, because that's not actually that's another one of my like hobbies. Like I really like going into the gym and working out and stuff. So I have that. First, it would start out to track my progress, but maybe I'll turn it into something later down the line.
Okay. All right. So, with the recognition that you've received and what you've been able to accomplish thus far, how do you stay grounded and focused?
I mean, every time I reach a new level of competition, there's always somebody at the top of that competition. So, just the thing, even though I'm at the top, maybe at Howard or even in our conference right now, outside of my conference at other schools, there are people way faster than that. So, that's why that's what kind of runs in the back of my head and makes me think like, I still got to put in the work no matter what.
Wow, wow, that's good. And so, as we begin to get to the end of it, one of the things that's important to me is just young athletes, as whether it's in high school, whether they're going to college, just making sure, one, they stay grounded no matter what kind of accolades or attention they're getting. But another thing I always like to ask my guests, and get everyone's opinion, how important is it to have positive people around you?
It's very important, especially, especially in swimming, because again, swimming is not an easy sport. No, I'm not to bring down anybody who plays basketball, football, baseball, or runs track, but everybody, anybody can learn how to throw a ball. Maybe not as good, but anybody can learn how to throw a ball, dribble a ball, run around the track, hit a baseball. But nobody really knows how to swim. Like it takes a while for you to learn how to swim, and then to swim competitively is a whole nother level. So that's why I would say swimming is not really easy. So having those people around you to help you get through the practices, get through the early mornings, get through the late nights, get through just get through like just getting through that certain training sessions is really important. Even meets to an example, to an extent.
Well, it's definitely awesome what you're doing. I'm not going to even try to throw the numbers. I don't know if you know them right offhand, but there's a small percentage of, in comparison to other ethnicities and things, there's a small percentage of Black people that even really know how to swim a lot of the times. Nonetheless, you're doing it on a big stage. So definitely, I just, hope you continue doing what you're doing, continue putting in the work so that you can get better. Just awesome. Hats off to you. I want to end with this. Who is it that inspires you in life?
Uh, Probably my family and my coaches. You know, they're pretty. My family are they really support me. So of course, like I'm inspired. I like we feed off each other. So you know, I inspire them, they inspire me. And my coach, both my coach here at Howard and my coach back home, they're both really hardworking people, and they're really dedicated. And selfless. They take a lot of sacrifices. So that really inspires me. So I could be, because they take sacrifices and they dedicate their time to people like me to help me become a better person. So that's really inspiring to me.
Wow, that's great, Mr. Simon. We thank you for joining us again, you all. We've had another awesome guest that is just being an example, just in his work, not only in the sport as well as outside of the sport, and just what he's doing in the classroom. Just showing you his focus as far as his career and his future. And I just hope that those that are watching will just be able to pull from the journey and just the awesome accomplishment. So definitely, Mr. Simon, we'll be looking forward to 2024 and looking forward to hopefully seeing you on that next level. So keep doing what you're doing. And thanks again for joining us.
No, thank you for again, thank you for the opportunity.
So those watching, you know what I always say, it is great to be awesome in the sport that you're playing, but it's even better to be great in life. So as always, we challenge you, achieve your very best outside of the game, and let's go out and up. Have a good one.